Good afternoon, team. Derrick Evans here, VA Home Loan Specialist, NMLS 155010. Was just notified by Google Voice today, by the way, if anyone has Google Voice out there, that they're not going to automatically forward text messages to your primary number. I guess they've been having some issues with spam, so if you have a Google Voice number, which I've been using for years, you got to make sure everybody's aware of your actual cell phone number. So that is my actual cell phone number right there. That's where you need to call or text if you want to reach me. So we're not just going to talk about VA Termite today, although we have things come up in the process of getting loans done and just in the process of doing business, and you get better. Sometimes you make mistakes or you didn't communicate as well as you should have, and you try to find ways to be better. And termite, I think, is one of those things that needs that conversation when we're talking about VA loans, because we know we need termite clearance for VA, but what does that mean? And I think there's a lot of confusion around this, so I want to settle that. I also have a guide that I'll provide to you for free. It's simple and easy. I'll just email it to you if you want it. So we'll take a look at that first, and then we'll go into some of the market stuff that's going on today. So what I found was, when we were looking at termite reports, and ultimately it's underwriter discretion. The underwriter does have the discretion. However, if the VA ultimately won't insure it, that will look really bad on them. So the underwriters are careful. They want to make sure that VA will insure the loan. And when you call the VA, when you look on the VA website, they don't have anything like this. So we made it. There's no termite report matrix that explains, hey, what about these different items like excessive moisture, cellulose debris, ventilation, water, caulking issues, loose tile, leaking faucets. What about all these different things? Because the way that it works with the VA loan, there's basically two people who have the veterans back, have the VA's back, if you will, but specifically the veterans back. And when they're going to go through the property physically, you have the appraiser and you have the termite inspector. So both of those individuals can bring up items that need to be addressed that were unbeknownst to the parties in the contract. Those are the two people who can say, hey, there's moisture here that needs to be paid attention to, or hey, this door isn't on the hinges over here. That needs to be, because the home needs to be complete for VA. It needs to be complete. You can't have things missing or undone or unfinished. Those will definitely get called out, either by the appraiser or by the termite inspector. So specifically with termite, when they're in there, a lot of people believe you only need Section 1 items to be cleared. And that's true. Section 1 items will always need to be cleared because Section 1 items mean that there's active termites. So you've got to have those items have to be dealt with. However, other things can show up in different sections of the termite report that also will be cause for concern that need to be cleared by the VA for the VA. Those items would include anything that's a health or safety issue. So safety or sanitary, if there's anything along those lines, then it's going to be something that needs to be dealt with. So this matrix is designed to just kind of give you an idea. You can see here at the top, we've put, there's an asterisk if no action is required. An X means it must be done. And then the diamond means that a licensed contractor has to address it. And so we created this matrix so you could look at every single thing. And we actually have FHA and conventional stuff on here too, although termite's not required unless it's put into the contract. With VA, it's required. You need it for the loan. So even if you waive termite, or you don't, if you write a VA offer and you don't put termite in there, then guess what? We still have to get it in order to do the loan. So all three are on here, but main thing we're talking about right now is VA. So yeah, purchase and refinance, they're not always the same, although they mostly are. And so you look at this and it'll tell you, okay, cellulose debris, that's an asterisk. What does asterisk mean? No action required. So for cellulose debris, that's something that doesn't need to be dealt with for any loan type. And so that's kind of how the matrix works. And it goes through all these different things. So if you're an agent, or if you're someone who's buying with VA and you want to learn more about it, just send me your email address. You can send me a direct message, and I'm happy to send this to you. We created it because it doesn't exist. Roof leaks. Here's a good one on all fronts. Someone who's licensed, a licensed roofer, needs to address those. So that's something that's important to note. Faulty grade is something that can come up. That one just came up actually recently. Now, at the end of the day, it is underwriter discretion. So there's certain cases where you can look at it and go, well, hey, it does say it needs to be dealt with, but look, it's really not a big deal. Here's what's going on with it. And sometimes, an underwriter will say, okay, we can deal without that. We can go without that, but very unlikely. So Section 1 definitely required. Section 2 and other section items could be required. So what does that mean? So when you're writing a VA offer, and always check with your broker. I'm not your broker, but check with your broker about this. But what I see savvy agents doing when writing VA offers is instead of saying, Section 1 termite clearance and putting that on the seller, put, termite clearance as required by the VA. So that way you're not necessarily just committing to Section 1, but you're actually saying, hey, we need termite clearance as required for the VA. That way, if an item shows up in Section 2 that is a leak or something that has nothing to do with termites, but is a problem, for the VA and for the home being in complete, safe, and sanitary condition, then that is something that will need to be addressed. So the best way to write your offer is to say something along the lines of whatever you can legally say. Like I said, I don't know the law. I'm not your broker, but something along the lines of termite clearance in accordance with requirements for the VA loan. Something like that would be the way to do it. Okay. So enough about termite. And we learned something this week on that. Oh, it's acting weird again. There we go. All right. So we're going to look at rates. We're going to look at a couple stories here. I'm making a prediction for tomorrow. I think the stock market is going to get smoked tomorrow. And some people agree with me on that. Some people disagree. We'll see. Pretty much most of the days the Fed has been talking, the stock market's gone much higher. But right now, the real trend here in mortgage bonds, remember we're seeing prices in mortgage bonds here have been going down. I mean, the last 3 days, these are the last 4 days right here, not good. When these prices go down, mortgage rates go up. So that's not ideal. Very flat, very tiny little indecision candle today because the Fed is speaking tomorrow. This Q&A that Jerome Powell does is sort of dangerous. And I think it's going to cause problems tomorrow. But you can see here, we do have sort of a wedge forming. And this typically means, there's going to be some sort of breakout. So we could see if things are interpreted positively tomorrow and stocks go higher, we could see bonds really get hit tomorrow. Or my guess is that we're going to see them kind of play back into this little, wedge that we have going on here before we have some sort of breakout. We've seen this pattern happen multiple times. I've been going sideways now for quite a while. If you really look at this, this is pretty much sideways action. Sorry, I'm writing all over this, but basically, we have this thing wedging and that usually means, we're going to get some movement one way or the other. Today, we're down 2 basis points. You see, we're just kind of staying below this level here. Really hoping that this can hold. Really need this to hold for mortgage rates because, beyond this, it's sort of a timber situation. Not good. Maybe we get support down here. Maybe we just kind of slowly come down here and come back up. That'd be fine. But I'm worried about this holding, especially if tomorrow goes poorly. So there's an article here on CNBC you can look at. Bottom line is, they're in Jackson Hole right now. We're going to hear from the Fed tomorrow. We know that the inflation numbers keep getting worse. A lot of people are saying we're easily in double-digit inflation right now. The tapering is expected to start some point later this year. I don't know if any of that's really been priced into the market. If we look at the market, though, the last few days, the indexes haven't been happy. There's been slight down days, but lots of positive news. And you can kind of see here a little bit of a rounding taking place here at the top. It really feels like we've made a top here in the Dow. It just seems to be primed to fall hard. If I was a trader, I would probably have some sort of short play on, some sort of options play, but I'm not. So I don't play that game. Short the futures or whatever. I'm not into it, but it does feel like we're topping out here with the Dow. Federal Reserve. There was a decent interview with Jim Cramer, who was basically saying he believes the same thing that hey, this Fed meeting and especially the Q&A session is really fragile because anything that the Fed says, which is not super, hey, we're going to ease. We're going to continue buying mortgage bonds. We're going to continue buying other bonds. We're going to continue to keep rates low. If it's not that, full steam ahead, pedal to the metal. If it's anything like, yeah, we're going to have to take a look at it. If they're going to ask him the same question over and over. So if he slips up one time and goes, we do need to take a closer look at that. Even that might be all that it would take to send the market down 500 or 600 points tomorrow. Some people think that'd be a great buying opportunity. I'm not that bullish on stocks, but we do know that tomorrow is going to be a big day, kind of no matter which way you cut it. So expect that. One of the things that's also going on right now, we're doing a seminar. This is tomorrow. So this is really kind of the last time to register. Wednesday, 6 p.m. down at our Chula Vista office, Otay Ranch Mall. If you're anyone you know is looking for more information about the VA home loan benefit, I'll put the link. You can RSVP there. We're expecting a really good turnout. We got free food and drinks. It'll be super fun. And we make it quick. We don't sit there forever and do a 2-hour presentation. It's like 45 minutes. We give you all the stuff you need, and then we give you the takeaway items that you need to kind of go from there. One more thing, too. I wonder if this will show up. We may get an endless character here. So Jamie Dimon yesterday, I posted this just for fun because I just couldn't believe it. He says JP Morgan is hoarding cash because there's a very good chance inflation is here to stay. Why would you hoard cash if inflation is here? That doesn't make any sense. That seems to be the opposite. If inflation is here, it's killing your cash. Someone had a good thesis on here, though. Can't remember who it was, but they basically said, hey, that means he thinks the stock market's going to tank. He wants to hold his cash so that he can get in at lower prices. Could be the case. I am not sure. But I will tell you about this right here. In this article, this Wall Street Journal article, which you need to be subscribed to in order to see, unfortunately. But this one is really interesting. It basically tells you about the story in Texas where a pension fund bought an entire new construction neighborhood in Texas for a 50% premium. Okay, a 50% premium before it was completed. Why would they do that? And there's really just one answer. It pencils. And remember also, if you are a huge fund like BlackRock, then you are going to have to invest in lots of stuff because you have trillions of dollars to invest. But the fact that they're buying residential homes to rent them out, by the way, not to flip them, just to rent them out, is a bit concerning for a number of reasons. So keep your eyes open for stories like this. It's really, really crazy what's going on. But as I've said for years, expect this to happen eventually. At some point, we are going to be in a situation where owning a home is a very difficult thing to do. It will not be something that's for everyone. Our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, it's going to be very difficult to own a home. And you see even here in San Diego right now, it's like people have to be not wealthy, but they have to be very well off to buy a home here. And that echelon is going to continue to raise, in my opinion, over time. Don't worry, there's still lots of places in the Midwest and where you can buy a $150,000 house if you have to. There's plenty of ways to live, but this trend isn't going to stop anytime soon. And that's why I'm telling people, get a hold of real estate, keep it generationally. That is the best thing you can do, as you're going to see more and more stuff like this go on, especially as the federal governments across the world continue to print tons and tons of money, including our own. All right, that's it for today. Hopefully that helps everybody. Feel free to share this with your friends. Great to see and hear from everyone. It's good to be back in the saddle. What's up, Bruce? How you doing? If you want the Termite Matrix, no problemo. I can get that to you. Just shoot me your email address, and I'm happy to provide it. It's a really, really useful tool to help with all different types of loans. Now, this is just, keep in mind, full disclosure, this is my bank. There can be different overlays and different rules at different banks. But for VA, particularly, if your bank is following the guidelines of VA, then this will be accurate. So hope that helps. Everybody have a great day. I'll be in touch soon.